Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome here to the launch pad, or maybe good afternoon or evening, depending where you're joining us from. Welcome here to our live launch coverage of Chandrayaan-3 launching from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sharikota. I'm going to say some names wrong today, but bear with me as we do. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the launch pad, and here at TOP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow because we believe that space is better together. We're glad to have you joining us for today's historic launch, launching a lunar lander and lunar rover to the moon from India. A super exciting launch. If it's your first time here, take a moment, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. We got lots of people tuning in. We got Antec in Poland, Hermione's in Netherlands. We have Bunsurm in Thailand. Sorry if I said that wrong. Yums in France. Sino Wings is in Grover Beach. Great to have you all here. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, share out the stream, and invite people to join us. We're waiting for the ISRO to begin their live coverage, and of course we will listen in to Mission Control for an update on the rocket and the countdown as we continue through today's count, now at T-minus 37 minutes, 7 seconds, and counting till launch. If you want to know more about today's launch, as always, you can head over to our detailed mission briefings over at topnetwork.com. We have our launch control where you can see all upcoming launches and whether we'll have live coverage of those on the Launchpad Network or not. The link's in the chat there and in the description for today's detailed mission briefing as we count down now just over 36 minutes and counting until the launch of a GSLV or Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle Mark III, launching from the second launch pad at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sharikota in India. It's current time today. We do have a 2-hour launch window. We are now currently targeting a 5:05 a.m. Eastern time or 9:05 a.m. UTC launch time, which is right just past that halfway mark of the launch window, and we're waiting for an update from the ISRO when they begin their live coverage on how that is progressing. As always, if you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, and we'll work on answering those live to the best of our ability throughout today's count. Today's mission, the first day of taking about 42 days to actually get to the moon. Chandrayaan-3 is a replacement for Chandrayaan-2, which unfortunately was lost during its descent to the lunar surface during that mission, but excited to see ISRO back, ready to launch again, entering this next chapter of India's space exploration. Really exciting to see another country heading to the moon. So much activity happening around the moon now. United States, from Europe with the ESA, we've got India, China, and Russia. It is becoming a very active part of the space race, and we're excited that you have joined us here. As we await for the ISRO to begin their live coverage, once they do, we'll listen in for an update. You can send in those questions in the chat. We'll work on answering those. We got the King is in Finland. Great to have you joining us. Lots of people in the chat. We got Micah is on Australia. Alkerson is in Ohio. Space Gamer, hello from the Ukraine. Hello. Daxt is in Slovakia. Great to have you here. Cray staying up late. Yes, for many of us, it is late morning, evening, depending where you are, but an exciting mission for today. Smarter Every Time watching from the Philippines. We got Fabbies in South Africa, and we got Monty in California. And there you have a live view of the second launch pad in Sharikota as ISRO is preparing for launch in about 34 minutes time.
English. With me
Let's
is my
listen into Mission Control.
Shivika Swankar giving the commentary in Hindi. We are joining you from the Mission Control Center at Satish Dhawan Space Center, Shar, Sriharikota, the spaceport of India. The launch of LVM-3M4 Chandrayaan-3 is scheduled to take place today, the 14th of July 2023 at 14:35 hours Indian Standard Time from the second launch pad. The mission intends to place Chandrayaan-3, weighing 3,900 kilograms, into an elliptical parking orbit having a perigee of 170 kilometers, an apogee of 36,500 kilometers, and an inclination of 21.3 degrees. Eventually, the destination of Chandrayaan-3 is the moon, located 384,000 kilometers away, which will be achieved through a series of orbit raising and course correction maneuvers over the next few weeks.
नमस्कार। भारतीय अंतरिक्ष अभियान और इसरो के गौरवपूर्ण इतिहास में एक और अध्याय जुड़ने जा रहा है, जिसके साक्षी हम सब होंगे। आज 14 जुलाई 2023 को इसरो के सतीश धवन अंतरिक्ष केंद्र के श्रीहरिकोटा के द्वितीय प्रमोचन मंच से भारतीय मानक समय के अनुसार दोपहर 2:35 17 पर LVM-3M4 चंद्रयान-3 मिशन का प्रमोचन किया जाएगा। यह पूरे भारतवर्ष के लिए एक उत्साह और गौरवपूर्ण भरा समय है। हम मिशन नियंत्रण कक्ष से मैं विकास स्वर्णकार, अपने साथी कमेंटेटर मिस माधुरी पी के साथ आप सभी दर्शकों का हार्दिक स्वागत करते हैं। हम आपको मिशन से जुड़ी सारी जानकारियां तथा आंखों देखा हाल सुनाते रहेंगे, तो बने रहिए हमारे साथ और साक्षी बनिए इस ऐतिहासिक मिशन के लिए।
TC शार 1 and 2।
इस मिशन को कुल 4 मुख्य भागों में बांटा गया है। पहला, चंद्रयान-3 अंतरिक्ष यान को LVM-3 द्वारा 170 बाई 36,500 किलोमीटर की इलिप्टिकल पार्किंग ऑर्बिट में 21 डिग्री के झुकाव के साथ अंतक्षेपित किया जाना। दूसरा, पृथ्वी की कक्षा को छोड़ चंद्रमा की कक्षा में जाना। तीसरा, चंद्रमा की सतह पर लैंडर का सुरक्षित लैंड करना। और अंत में रोवर का चंद्रमा की सतह पर विचरण करके तात्विक तथा रासायनिक विश्लेषण कर वैज्ञानिक आंकड़े जुटाना।
On your TV screen, Honorable Minister of State for Science and Technology and Prime Minister's Office, Dr. Jitendra Singh.
जी हाँ, आज के मुख्य अतिथि के रूप में यहाँ उपस्थित हैं विज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी राज्य मंत्री माननीय डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह।
We are about 31 minutes from the scheduled launch time. You're watching this live from the Mission Control Center. Apart from Doordarshan, you can also watch the launch event on ISRO website, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
आपको ज्ञात हो, चंद्रयान-1 22 अक्टूबर 2008 को PSLV-C11 द्वारा प्रक्षेपित किया गया था और 8 नवंबर 2008 को वह चंद्रमा की कक्षा में जाने में सफल रहा था और अपने मिशन का उद्देश्य पूरा किया, जिसमें चंद्रमा पर पानी की खोज भी शामिल है। फिर 29 अगस्त 2009 में चंद्रयान-1 से हमारा संपर्क किसी कारणवश टूट गया, लेकिन इस मील के पत्थर ने चंद्रयान-2 का मार्ग प्रशस्त किया था। चंद्रयान-2, जिसमें ऑर्बिटर के साथ चंद्रमा की सतह पर उतरने के लिए लैंडर और आसपास के क्षेत्र का विश्लेषण करने के लिए रोवर की अभिकल्पना की गई थी। परिपक्व उत्पादन प्रणाली द्वारा निर्मित किया जाता है। दोनों S200 के मध्य में L110 चरण है, जो कि तरल नोदक पर आधारित चरण है, और इसके ऊपर की ओर 28 टन के क्रायोजेनिक ईंधन वाले C20 इंजन का प्रयोग करते हुए C25 चरण है, जो कि भारत का सबसे बड़ा क्रायोजेनिक इंजन है। इसे इसरो के लिक्विड प्रोपल्शन सिस्टम सेंटर IPRC द्वारा विकसित किया गया है।
As we await the launch, let me tell the viewers about the flight events for LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission. At T0, the twin S-200s will be ignited and the mighty LVM-3 rocket lifts off. The core L-110 stage is airlit 108 seconds into the flight, while the rocket is at an altitude of 45 kilometers. The S-200 strap-ons and L-110 will thrust together for the next 20 seconds. Thereafter, the strap-ons will separate at 127 seconds past launch time, while the rocket is at 62 kilometers altitude. The relative velocity gained by the rocket in the meantime is 1.59 kilometers per second. At an altitude of 71 kilometers, closed loop guidance is initiated for LVM-3. Separation of payload fairing takes place at 195 seconds past the launch at an altitude of 115 kilometers. The core 110 stage, having completed its burn time of about 200 seconds, is separated from the ongoing rocket. This event takes place at 306 seconds into the flight. At this point of time, the altitude will be 175 kilometers and the rocket would have acquired 4.2 kilometers per second relative velocity. Then the upper cryogenic stage, C25, ignites 2 seconds later and continues to burn for close to 650 seconds. During the operational regime of C25, the largest relative velocity addition takes place. It increases from 4.178 kilometers per second to 9.804 kilometers per second. And the most awaited moment of the Chandrayaan-3 separation is scheduled to take place at 969.7 seconds into the flight. The altitude will be 179.3 kilometers, which is a part of elliptical transfer orbit of 170 by 36,500 kilometers. From then on, the mooncraft Chandrayaan-3 would commence its journey to the moon.
इस मिशन का काउंटडाउन 25.5 घंटे पूर्व शुरू हो चुका है और इस दौरान रॉकेट तथा अंतरिक्ष यान को पावर ऑन कर सभी तंत्रों की स्वास्थ्य जांच की जा रही है। इस दौरान L-110 चरण तथा क्रायोजेनिक चरण पर ईंधन का भराव सुनिश्चित किया जा चुका है।
Well, we're going to try this again. Let me know if you got a 5x5 in the chat. If the mic's working this time, you can see a live view there of people gathering to watch today's historic flight of Chandrayaan-3. Amazing to see such a great crowd turning out for today's launch. If you happen to be down in the area and are there, let us know in the chat. If you take photos or videos, make sure you send us those over on Discord or Twitter. Make sure that you'll have those links in the chat where you can find us there on Discord or Twitter. Both are free for you to find us and tag us on those photos. We'll continue listening in back to a live view of second launch pad at the Satish Dhawan Center, where the GSLV Mark III is fueling up, preparing for launch in just over 24 minutes time. We're listening in and off through mission control as we get updates on the vehicle. Looks like they're going to play a bit of a video here, so we're going to answer some of your guys' questions. You can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, and we'll work on answering those live to the best of our ability. I was answering a question when we had some of the mic issues. Why is it going to take 42 days to reach the moon? They are doing a maneuver we've seen other vehicles also doing, where they don't have enough power in the launch vehicle to do like a 3 or 4 day journey to the moon like we saw with Apollo and with SLS. So they can actually use the Earth and the moon's gravities and take a longer journey but still arrive in the lunar orbit. It just takes a lot more loops and gravity maneuvers to be able to do so, and that's why it ultimately takes 42 days approximately to get there. On your screen now, looking at some live views of, or some recorded views of them building the GSLV Mark III in preparation for today's flight. Now T-minus 23 minutes, 30 seconds, and counting. Daniel Gaming asking, what will this probe do on the surface of the moon? Really great question. Chandrayaan-3 is India's third mission to the moon. It's a repeat of the most failed Chandrayaan-2 mission with only a lunar lander and rover. After a controlled descent, the lander will perform a soft landing on the lunar surface at a specified site, where it will then deploy the six-wheeled rover, which weighs about 20 kilograms, which operates off of solar power. That will move around the landing site, performing lunar surface chemical analysis and relaying data back to Earth through the orbiter. The lander will be collecting data on moonquakes, thermal properties of the lunar surface, and the density and variation of lunar surface plasma. Altogether, the Chandrayaan-3's mission will collect scientific information on lunar topography, mineralogy, elemental abundance, lunar exosphere, and signatures of hydroxyl and water ice. And that is what we are seeing for the mission here of Chandrayaan-3. Now T-minus 22 minutes, 25 seconds, and counting until launch. If you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, and we'll work on answering those to the best of our ability. Thanks for those sending in questions so far. Some buzzing on the cable. Looks like we've got that all set now. Good old technology. We can send stuff to the moon, but sometimes a simple mic cable doesn't decide to work. But great to have many of you joining us here today. We know it's a very busy day over on the official ISRO stream as well. An exciting day for India and the world as another country begins to send another lunar lander to the moon as we enter this kind of era of lunar exploration. If you want to join us on our own payload to the moon, here at the Launchpad Network, we are sending our own payload to the lunar surface, and we want to invite you to join us. You can click the link that's in the chat or go to tlpnetwork.com, click on LUNEX. That is our Lunar Exploration 1 mission. You can send your name, your family's name, your dog's name, or that teacher that you didn't like's name to the moon for free and join us on our payload. If you'd like to send a photo or a video, you can upgrade your payload for just a few dollars and send a photo or a video of you and or your family to the surface of the moon. More mission details will come out. You'll get a confirmation screen when you get so that you can share on social media, and when we begin payload boarding, we will be sending everyone confirmation boarding passes with information on the launch vehicle, launch dates, and etc. We're also going to be working on organizing a watch party down on location when that launch is ready to occur. So definitely check that out, Lunex1 on our website, and we invite you to join us and send your own name to the moon for free. If you're just joining us though, welcome. We are now T-minus 20 minutes, 35 seconds and counting until the launch of a GSLV Mark III rocket from the second launch pad in Sarikota, India at the Satish Dhawan Space Center, carrying the Chandrayaan-3 payload, which is a lunar lander and rover, beginning its 42-day mission to the moon. We're going to listen back into Mission Control here shortly. They're playing through a video showing you the journey of the rocket out to the pad. GSLV rocket, a great looking rocket in this pad, one of a few pads that we're going to start seeing a lot more of as India continues to expand its space exploration program, and we'll soon see crew launch vehicles testing as well. Now a live view of the second launch pad as we're now under 20 minutes and counting until launch. Fueling well underway. Aditya, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Will the rocket be visible from the U.S.? That it will not be. Might be something that you could see the dot in the sky, which you can see with many things that are in orbit, but it's not something that you're going to actually see the flight here today. Cray, why is NASA sending humans back to the moon? So it's not only NASA, it's a partnership of many nations together that are preparing to send people back to the moon. But this time we're not going just to say we can do it. We're going to stay. We're going to live and work on the moon, and then we're going to prepare to go on to Mars, hopefully by the end of next decade. So by 2040, the hope is that we will have people living and working on both the moon and the Mars, opening up a whole new book and chapter of humankind and humanity's history. So a really exciting time to be alive, and missions like this with Chandrayaan-3 are just a stepping stone to seeing more people be able to travel up into orbit to the moon and then on to Mars. This is where we are learning science and technology to be able to do so. We need to know how the moon has moonquakes, and that is one of the things that this vehicle will be doing. Let's listen back into Mission Control.
10 मिनट 12 सेकंड की दूरी पर
Health is normal and cleared for launch.
Mission Director Roger.
ROD to Mission Director. Range is ready for LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 launch.
Minus 19 minutes.
Mission Director Roger.
TTC Director to Mission Director. All ISRO stations and network is ready to support LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission.
रेंज ऑपरेशन डायरेक्टर, टेलीमेट्री ट्रैकिंग एंड कमांड डायरेक्टर, सैटेलाइट डायरेक्टर और व्हीकल डायरेक्टर अपने तंत्रों की जानकारी मिशन डायरेक्टर को देते हैं।
All necessary clearances are obtained for the launch of LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission. Mission Readiness Review Committee and Launch Authorization Board have already given authorization for the launch of LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission. Based on the readiness of vehicle systems, range, spacecraft, and TTC, confirmed by respective mission executives, and the prevailing favorable weather conditions, Mission Director hereby authorizes for the launch operation sequence of launch of LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission at 14 hours 35 minutes 17 seconds Indian Standard Time, today the 14th July 2023, from second launch pad of SDSC Shar.
Control Roger. All stations to know. Mission Director has given authorization for launch.
जी हाँ, अभी आपने घोषणा सुनी।
And that was a major milestone we were listening in for there. Launch is authorized. T-minus 17 minutes, 36 seconds and counting. The rocket is go, the range is go, and the payload is go. And the launch director has authorized the launch. They will now enter the final sequence of flight. Obviously, there's many things that can still stop a launch at this point, but right now, everything is trending go for launch. It looks like a beautiful day at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sarasota. Now just over 17 minutes and counting till launch.
Begin at T-minus 14 minutes 30 seconds, as a part of which the most critical control system elements are checked for the launch vehicle.
Minus 17 minutes.
Very close to the launch time, control will be passed on to the onboard
Roger.
computers.
VLCC to LCC note to note. Timing
व्यूअर्स
confirmed
गैलरी दर्शकों से
excel full
खचाखच भरी हुई।
VLCC Roger.
बहुत भारी संख्या में यहाँ लोग उपस्थित हुए हैं। आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत है सतीश धवन अंतरिक्ष केंद्र में।
Enthusiastic viewers from all across the country gathering at Satish Dhawan Space Center Launch View Gallery for witnessing this historic moment
Data
of
loggers are on
Chandrayaan-3
at 7 and
launch.
Shatu stations.
Copied.
The countdown for LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission has lasted for 25.5 hours. It was commenced on 1:30 p.m. yesterday.
While of operation of hydrogen tank.
During countdown, the launch vehicle
Minus
stages are
16
serviced with propellants.
Vehicle Director to
Gas
ALS
bottles
console.
meant for stage
Vehicle
operations are
Director
charged,
authorizes
while the Earth
automatic
storable
launch sequence
propellant
for the
filling was
LVM-3
concluded
M4
more than
Chandrayaan-3
16
mission.
hours ago.
ALS
The cryogenic propellants
SDA servers activated. MC confirms data from SHAR-1
अभी
and
अभी
SHAR-2.
कंफर्म किया गया है। व्हीकल डायरेक्टर श्री बीजूसी थॉमस ने ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस शुरू कर दिया है। अब यह लॉन्च व्हीकल LVM-3 M4 रॉकेट ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस के अंतर्गत है। इसका मतलब ऑन बोर्ड कंप्यूटर पूरी तरह स्वचालित हो चुका है।
We are very close to the launch, and the day of launch wind biasing data is fed during the countdown to the onboard computers to enable most suitable steering of the launch vehicle through atmosphere. Up next, we will watch a curtain raiser video on this mission.
Number 465, request CGSS to confirm supply of GN2 to cryo.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We are now just under 15 minutes and counting until the launch of Chandrayaan-3. They're going to play through a mission video here. We're going to take some time to answer your questions, so you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. If it's your first time here, though, make sure you take a moment and engage that subscribe button so you never miss another live launch coverage, docking, undocking, or return to Earth coverage right here on the launch pad, as well as the launch pad news, bringing you the latest in space news, because here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, because we believe that space is better together. And we're glad to have you joining us here in T-minus 14 minutes, 11 seconds and counting until launch of the GSLV, the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, the Mark III version of that vehicle, now continuing through today's count. Following up in the chat, catching up on any questions sent in, as I said, you can continue sending those in by tagging us at the launch pad. Waffle, if I remember correctly, the GSLV lights its main engines at booster separation. Why do they do this compared to lighting it all at once? There are a few launch vehicles that do this, that they launch the boosters on the sides, and then they fly, and then they'll ignite the main engines. Some will ignite both prior main engine, then SRBs. Things like that. All depends on how that launch vehicle was designed. Some of these ones have such strong SRBs, they don't actually need as strong of a main engine, or they don't need a main engine until a certain part in flight, and they need to be able to maintain as much fuel for that main engine for them to actually have a successful mission. So it all comes down to the design and development of that actual launch vehicle. And that's what we'll wait to see here today. But great having many of you joining us in today. Now T-minus 13 minutes and counting until launch of the Chandrayaan-3 lunar lander with Rover on board. They're showing a bit of a play-by video of the lander and rover, showing you what it'll be studying along with its orbiter as well. A really all-inclusive mission, kind of covering all three types of things that you send to the moon: an orbiter, a lander, and a rover, and a super exciting day for India as well. For those wondering what the ISRO is, the ISRO stands for India's Space Research Organization. It's the space agency of the government of India, and its headquarters are located in Bangalore. Its vision is to harness space technology for national development while pursuing space science research and planetary exploration. Just recently, we had some news stories come out about partnerships India is doing. They are partnering with a few different companies, opening up a new chapter there, looking at other possible opportunities to be able to use their future crew vehicle for orbital missions to Starlab. If you want to know more about that, you can head over to tlpnetwork.com/news. That's where we post all of our Launchpad news articles, or stay tuned for this week's The Launchpad News weekly video coming out tomorrow right here on the Launchpad. Golden, I am from Canada, and I have to wish Canada had a rocket, being without Canada, the U.S. Well, you know what? We are getting rockets here in Canada. It's super exciting. We are getting our first launch site out on the East Coast, and some rockets as well. I'm also going to be going behind the scenes at a up-and-coming Canadian rocket company next week, so make sure you stay tuned for that video when it comes out. Getting a behind-the-scenes look at a really incredible vehicle that is in development with some new technology, so stay tuned for that. But Canada, we are finally starting to get a space program, which is super exciting to see. Now under 11 minutes and counting until launch of Chandrayaan-3. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, share out the stream as well, invite people to join us. I know it's the middle of the night for us here in North America, but a beautiful day over in India as we go through the final bit of today's count towards launch. We'll have those live views of the second launch pad back here shortly after this video is completed, and hopefully we'll stay with that through the live launch. We're going to stay live through all of the speeches today, so you can stay with us as we watch to see how things progress through today's launch and the follow-up events that happen inside the ISRO's Mission Control Room at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sarikota. Thanks, Sharon. Appreciate it. Great to see you. Appreciate the support. Catching up in the chat. If you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat. We'll work on answering those live. We'll listen back into ISRO mission controls. We continue through the count now, just under 10 minutes in counting.
इसरो के अध्यक्ष श्री एस सोमनाथ, अभी आपने देखा एक संक्षिप्त वीडियो जिसमें एनिमेशन की मदद से इस पूरे मिशन की यात्रा को बताया गया है, इस मिशन के ऑब्जेक्टिव को समझाया गया।
Tank level correction completed.
Chandrayaan-3 has two predecessors with destination moon as their mission objective. Chandrayaan-3 launched by PSLV C-11 in October 2008 included lunar orbiter and impactor. During the mission life of around 10 months, Chandrayaan-1 had mapped the minerals on lunar surface, acquired 70,000 images to help create 3D atlas of moon, and what's more, found water on moon's polar regions. Chandrayaan-2 launched by LVM-3M1 on 22nd of July 2019 consisted of lunar orbiter, lander named Vikram, and rover named Pragyan. The orbiter is still providing insightful scientific information through its payloads like spectrometers, synthetic aperture radar, and cameras.
चंद्रयान 3 की चंद्रमा की सतह में उतरने के इस मिशन
For those just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. T minus 8 minutes, 15 seconds, and counting. On your screen there, you can see the journey that Chandrayaan-3 will take over the course of its 42-day mission to the moon. You can see those orbits that will occur around Earth, and then it will have that final lunar transfer trajectory, and then it will do a number of orbits to actually circularize and lower down to a stable orbit around the moon prior to deploying its lander. An incredible view at all the people gathered at the Satish Dhawan launch viewing gallery area for today. Absolutely jam-packed as India prepares to send another lunar lander to the moon, hopefully going for their second successful landing on the moon. T minus 7 minutes, 32 seconds, and counting until launch. If you haven't yet, take a moment, share the stream out, invite people to join us as we continue through today's count. We're continuing through a little bit more information about the vehicle and the payload and its propulsion module that is actually on board of Chandrayaan-3. Looks like a beautiful, very warm day, most likely, in the Sarikota area at the Satish Dhawan Space Center as we come down to now T minus 7 minutes and counting until launch.
Speaking about the major milestones in the journey of Chandrayaan-3 to the moon, the spacecraft consists of propulsion module, lander, and rover. Lander is planned to touch down at south pole of moon. The major 10 phases of the mission are: the first phase, called the Earth-centric phase, comprises of pre-launch, launch, ascent, and earthbound maneuver. While the second phase is the lunar transfer phase, as the name suggests, the Chandrayaan spacecraft moves closer to the moon. Next 8 phases are in the moon orbit, the third being the lunar orbit insertion, followed by the moon-bound maneuvers phase, which mark the fourth phase. And next it is now that the propulsion module separates from the lunar module when 100 by 100 circular orbit of the moon is achieved. The Chandrayaan-3 in its sixth phase carries out D-boost from 100 kilometers to 100 by 30 kilometers orbit, followed by the pre-landing phase as seventh phase, and then the most awaited landing phase takes place.
T minus 5 minutes, 30 seconds.
आपके सामने है मिशन नियंत्रण कक्ष का दृश्य.
We continue to listen in to ISRO mission control as we get into the final portion of today's count, now approaching T minus 5 minutes, 10 seconds, and counting until launch.
1000 पे प्रमोशन से हम 5 मिनट की दूरी पर हैं.
T minus 5 minutes.
Most of you might recall the Chandrayaan-2 mission and the intense moments when all the enthusiastic Indians were waiting for the touchdown of the lander on the surface of moon. The launch view gallery with the overwhelming crowd of visitors.
पूरे दर्शक दीर्घा यहाँ बहुत उत्साहित। मौसम में थोड़ी परेशानी हो सकती है, लेकिन सब अपनी सुविधाओं के साथ में यहाँ उपस्थित हुए हैं।
We are close to 4 minutes from the scheduled launch time.
minus 4 minutes.
Gaining from the heritage of Chandrayaan-2, the Chandrayaan-3 is upgraded in several aspects for the enhanced robustness through
and wall
extensive
battery
ground
mode.
tests and simulation.
Onboard computer in flight mode.
ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस जारी है। इस दौरान सभी संचार तंत्रों की स्वास्थ्य जांच, बैटरी आवेशन पूर्ण किया जा चुका है। कुछ अंतिम गतिविधियां जैसे ऑनबोर्ड कंप्यूटर पर रियल टाइम प्रोग्राम लोड करना, पायरो लाइन को आर्म मोड में लाना, गैस टैंक का अंतिम आवेशन, और यह सभी घटनाएं संतोषजनक तरीके से पूर्ण की जा रही हैं।
minus 3 minutes.
अब हम उड़ान से 3 मिनट की दूरी पर हैं। प्रमोशन तथा इस प्रमोशन की घटनाक्रम को पहले ही बताया जा चुका है। सर्वप्रथम दोनों S200 स्ट्रप-ऑन बूस्टर प्रज्वलित किए जाएंगे T0 पर।
Pre-flight pressurization of the hydrogen tank commenced.
S200 के प्रज्वलन के
You're
108
just joining us. Welcome here to the launch pad. We are now T-minus 2 minutes and counting until launch of a GSLV Mark III rocket launching from the second launch pad at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sarikota, India, carrying Chandrayaan-3, a lunar orbiter, lander, and rover to the moon, the third lunar mission for India. As we get down to T-minus 1 minute and 38 seconds and counting, we're going to listen in to the final count through mission control. As always, let's see that go, no go in the chat. Take a moment, share out the stream, and let's watch history as India heads back to the moon.
सभी दर्शकों को ज्ञात है यह एक ऐतिहासिक मिशन होने वाला है। पूरे भारतवर्ष की आंखें इसमें हैं। इस यादगार पल के लिए यहाँ सब उपस्थित।
minus 1 minute.
अब हम उड़ान से 1 मिनट की दूरी पर।
45 seconds. minus 50 seconds.
All sequencers armed. Stage ready.
minus
TB ready.
45 seconds. minus 40 seconds.
L110 VHPP open. MOV
minus
79 open.
33 seconds. minus 30 seconds.
Real-time programs activated.
minus 25 seconds.
L110 VSPP open.
minus 20 seconds. minus 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Plus 5 seconds.
Liftoff
Chandra-
normal.
Here we have a liftoff of LVM-3 M4 rocket carrying India's prestigious Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft.
P2 tracking.
प्रज्वलन और सफलतापूर्ण उत्थापन LVM-3 M4 रॉकेट का। यह भीमकाय रॉकेट आसमान को चीरते हुए अपनी भयानक दहाड़ से चारों ओर कंपन उत्पन्न कर रहा है। इसे हम यहाँ महसूस कर सकते हैं और यही दहाड़ है जो वैज्ञानिकों को रोमांचित करती है। LVM-3 के उत्थापन के साथ ही हमारे अंतरिक्ष यान चंद्रयान-3 की चंद्रमा की यात्रा प्रारंभ हो चुकी है।
As the rocket is soaring through the clear skies, every second moving closer to the accomplishment of the most important milestone in its mission to moon. Every Indian witnessing the launch live is content with the feeling of watching history in the making.
चंद्रमा की सतह पर अपना छाप छोड़ने के लिए चंद्रयान-3 अपने मिशन को पूरा करने निकल चुका है। वर्तमान में दोनों S-200 स्टेप ऑन बूस्टर सामान निष्पादन करते हुए अपनी निर्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं।
The S-200 motors thrusting simultaneously, generating a peak thrust of close to 6,000 kilonewtons in vacuum. They are made of HTPB-based solid propellant, 204.5 tons in each strap-on. Close to 2 tons of propellant being burnt each second.
S-200 स्ट्रैप-ऑन बूस्टर्स का कुल प्रज्वलन काल 126 सेकंड का है और अभी घोषणा की गई L110 स्टेज का भी प्रज्वलन शुरू हो चुका है।
Apart from the strap-ons, the core stage has also commenced its operation. This stage, based on combination
200 stages are separated.
of hypergolic earth storable liquid propellants UH-25 and N2O4. Now the S-200s have been separated.
घटनाक्रम के अनुसार इस यान से S-200 स्ट्रैप-ऑन बूस्टर्स को सफलतापूर्वक पृथक कर दिया गया है। यह काम सेपरेशन मोटर्स की मदद से किया जाता है। इसके बाद L110 तरल नोदक पर आधारित और विकास इंजन के साथ यह चरण सामान्य निष्पादन करता हुआ अपने उद्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर बढ़ रहा है। अब यान क्लोज लूप गाइडेंस के अंतर्गत है।
L110 stage performance normal.
The trajectory of launch vehicle is closely following the prediction.
Payload fairing separated.
जी हाँ, पेलोड फेयरिंग को पृथक कर दिया गया है यान से, क्योंकि यान अब 114.8 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई प्राप्त कर चुका है। इस चरण का कुल प्रज्वलन काल 200 सेकेंड होता है और इस दौरान यह करीब 1600 किलो न्यूटन का प्रणोद उत्पन्न करता है।
We are 220 seconds past the launch time. Current altitude is 135 kilometers. In the 200 seconds of its operation, the L110 stage carries the rocket up to 175.5 kilometers altitude and imparts a relative velocity of 4.18 kilometers per second. That is 250 kilometers every minute.
L110 stage performance normal.
LVM-3 M4 रॉकेट का द्वितीय चरण पूर्णतः सामान्य निष्पादन करते हुए इस चरण में कुल 113 टन के तरल नोदक भरे जाते हैं। N2O4 तथा UH-25 अर्थ स्टोरेबल प्रोपेलेंट को ईंधन के रूप में प्रयोग किया जाता है इस चरण में।
Stage ignition is authorized.
अगला चरण C-25 का प्रज्वलन भावी है।
Plus 5 minutes.
L110 stage thrust cut off and separated to C-25 ignition command. 25 ignition confirmed.
That's a piece of really good news that the third stage has started its operation. The C-25 stage has been ignited.
जी हाँ, एक बहुत ही जटिल प्रक्रिया होती है क्रायो इंजन का इग्निशन और इसके प्रज्वलन के साथ ही तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट से गूंज उठा है मिशन नियंत्रण कक्ष। तृतीय चरण C-25 वर्तमान में प्रणोद उत्पन्न कर रहा है। पूर्णतः सामान्य, सभी तंत्र पूर्णतः सामान्य हैं।
118 kilonewtons thrust in vacuum is what this stage develops with its 28.6 tons propellant combination of liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Present altitude
Stage
is close.
performance normal.
तृतीय और यह अंतिम चरण है इस यान का C-25। यह क्रायो ईंधन पर आधारित चरण है जिसमें लिक्विड हाइड्रोजन, लिक्विड ऑक्सीजन का इस्तेमाल होता है। इसमें कुल 28 टन का क्रायो ईंधन पूरी सुरक्षा तथा सावधानी के साथ भरा जाता है। इस चरण में 186 किलोन्यूटन का प्रणोद उत्पन्न होता है और यह करीब 640 सेकंड तक प्रज्वलित रहेगा। इसमें दिशा नियंत्रण के लिए इंजन जिम्बल का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है। क्रायो ईंधन का विशिष्ट आवेग 446 सेकंड के करीब होता है।
Currently, the rocket is at an altitude of 210 kilometers.
Plus 7 minutes.
While there is no much variation in altitude, this stage will add to the relative velocity immensely.
Cryo stage
आइए
performance
अब आपको
normal.
पेलोड के बारे में जानकारी देते हैं। लैंडर मॉड्यूल्स पे कई वैज्ञानिक प्रयोगों के लिए पेलोड्स लगाए गए हैं।
India's prestigious lunar landing spacecraft Chandrayaan-3 moving closer to its intended injection spot in the orbit. The propulsion module provides propulsion for earthbound maneuvers, translunar injection, and moonbound orbits. It also has a payload to study the spectral and polarimetric measurements of Earth and lunar orbit. The abbreviated name of the payload is SHAPE. Among the payloads of the lander module, the following are included. A Langmuir probe called Rambha to measure the near-surface plasma density, that is the density of ions and electrons, and its changes with time. The second payload is Chandra's Surface Thermophysical Experiment or CHASTE to measure thermal properties of lunar surface near polar regions. To measure the seismicity around the landing site and delineating the structure of the lunar crust and mantle, payload ILSA is there. The rover, after its descent, will further the
Cryo
scientific
stage
study
performance
objectives
normal.
through its own payloads. For better understanding of chemical and mineralogical composition of lunar surface, LIBS or laser-induced breakdown spectroscope is included. Another payload is the alpha particle X-ray spectrometer.
जी हाँ, लैंडर मॉड्यूल में 3 पेलोड हैं, रोवर में 2 और प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल में 1 पेलोड भेजा गया है। चंद्रयान 3 के स्वदेशी लैंडर और रोवर में नितभारों का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। यह अंतर्ग्रही मिशन के लिए भी आवश्यक तकनीकों का प्रदर्शन करेंगे। लैंडर के पास यह क्षमता है कि वह चंद्रमा की उबड़-खाबड़ सतह में भी बड़ी सावधानी से उतर सकेगा और रोवर को बाहर लाने के लिए और संचार सुविधाएं प्रदान करने के लिए सक्षम होगा। चंद्रयान 3 के लैंडर और रोवर में कुल 6 नितभार हैं। रेडियो एस्ट्रोनॉमी ऑफ मून बाउंड हाइपर सेंसिटिव आयनोस्फीयर एंड एटमॉस्फेयर, जिसे शॉर्ट में रंभा कहा जाता है, यह चंद्रमा की सतह के पास प्लाज्मा के घनत्व तथा समय के साथ बदलाव का मापन करेगा। इसके बाद चंद्र सरफेस थर्मोफिजिकल एक्सपेरिमेंट चंद्रमा के ध्रुवीय सतह के आसपास की थर्मल प्रॉपर्टीज का मापन करेगा। इंस्ट्रूमेंट फॉर ल्यूनर सिस्मिक एक्टिविटी लैंडिंग साइट के आसपास के क्षेत्र में भूकंप जैसी गतिविधियों का पता लगाएगा। रोवर में चंद्रमा की सतह के तत्वात्मक विश्लेषण के लिए
Stage
लेजर इंड्यूस्ड
performance
ब्रेकडाउन
normal.
स्पेक्ट्रोस्कोप और अल्फा पार्टिकल एक्सरे स्पेक्ट्रोस्कोप इसका इस्तेमाल
Plus
किया जा रहा
11
है।
minutes.
एक बहुत ही दिलचस्प वैज्ञानिक निर्धार है शेप स्पेक्ट्रोपोलैरिमेट्री ऑफ हैबिटेबल प्लैनेट अर्थ, जो कि चंद्रमा से पृथ्वी से परावर्तित नियर इंफ्रारेड किरणों का विश्लेषण दूसरे जीवन सहायक ग्रहों को खोजने में मदद करेगा। वर्तमान में C-25 इंजन कार्यरत है और पूर्णतः सामान्य प्रदर्शन कर रहा है। अब हम प्रमोशन से 700 सेकंड की दूरी पर आ चुके हैं। सापेक्ष गति 6.5 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड, ऊंचाई 191 किलोमीटर।
As we have told you about the Chandrayaan-3's upgrades in the aspects of enhanced robustness through extensive ground tests and simulation, during the last phase of landing, the module will have a vertical velocity of less than 1 meter per second and a horizontal velocity of less than 0.5 meters per second from a height of 3 meters. The lander legs are designed to be robust enough to drive the impact. The cameras are tuned to take pictures ahead of the landing and enable intelligent decision making for choice of best location to land, avoiding craters and boulders on lunar surface.
Normal.
The successive pictures will also enable the craft to determine its horizontal and vertical velocity in real time. Laser Doppler velocity sensor is an upgrade in Chandrayaan-3 over its predecessor. It helps to determine instantaneous velocity of craft. Insights into the behavior of Chandrayaan-2 in the last few minutes of its descent has revealed to the scientists the necessity for upgrade in the guidance algorithm. Inputs from various sensors are used by the autonomous navigation guidance algorithm of Chandrayaan-3 to plan the flight path to the most suitable landing spot. The engines of Chandrayaan-3 are capable of more gradual throttling also.
वर्तमान में हम प्रमोशन से 817 सेकंड की दूरी पर आ चुके हैं। करीब 950 सेकंड पर तृतीय चरण क्रायोजेनिक इंजन को शट ऑफ कर दिया जाएगा। और उचित अभिवृद्धि प्राप्त कर चंद्रयान-3 को यान से पृथक कर दिया जाएगा। चंद्रयान-3 को LVM-3M4 द्वारा एलिप्टिकल पार्किंग ऑर्बिट में लॉन्च करने के पश्चात 170 किलोमीटर की पेरिजी पर क्रमशः 5 बार मैन्यूवरिंग कमांड दिया जाएगा। 5वीं बार में यह पृथ्वी से चंद्रमा की ओर प्रस्थान करेगा, जिसे हम ल्यूनर ट्रांसफर ऑर्बिट के नाम से जानते हैं। फिर 5 अगस्त 2023 को यह चंद्रमा की कक्षा में प्रवेश करेगा और फिर क्रमशः 5 मैन्यूवरिंग के पश्चात प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल चंद्रमा की 100 किलोमीटर की वृत्ताकार कक्षा में स्थापित हो जाएगा। यहाँ यह उचित समय और अभिवृद्धि में लैंडर मॉड्यूल को पृथक करेगा और 23 अक्टूबर 2023 को चंद्रमा की सतह पर लैंडिंग की प्रक्रिया शुरू की जाएगी।
Plus 15 minutes.
We have come close to 900 seconds after the launch. Currently, the C-25 stage is thrusting. Current relative velocity is 9.29 kilometers per second.
जी हाँ, कुछ ही क्षणों में हम देखेंगे तृतीय चरण LVM-3M4 रॉकेट का चंद्रयान को उद्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर ले जा रहा है और उद्दिष्ट कक्षा प्राप्त होते ही और उचित अभिवृद्धि प्राप्त होते ही चंद्रयान 3 को अंतक्षेपित कर दिया जाएगा।
Cryo stage thrust cutoff. Satellite injection condition is achieved.
अभी पुष्टि की गई चंद्रयान 3 को प्रमोशन की कक्षा प्राप्त कर ली गई है।
Chandrayaan 3 satellite separated.
चंद्रयान 3 को सफलतापूर्वक अंतक्षेपित कर दिया गया है elliptical parking orbit पर।
Chandrayaan-3 has attained a major milestone
LVM-3
successfully.
Chandrayaan-3 mission accomplished. Handing over to mission director.
This is mission director. The LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan mission accomplished its precise satellite injection conditions. LVM-3 M4 mission is successful. Jai Hind.
The launch has also added a feather in the cap of LVM-3 rocket. You can watch the jubilant congratulatory gestures of ISRO scientists in the Mission Control Center.
जी हाँ, चंद्रयान को सफलतापूर्वक अंतक्षेपित कर दिया गया है, लेकिन चंद्रयान 3 की यात्रा अभी जारी है। अब इस मिशन के बारे में हम अध्यक्ष महोदय से सुनेंगे और हम आपसे आज्ञा लेते हैं।
We sign off.
Namaskar.
Up next is address by Secretary DOS, Chairman ISRO.
And we are going to listen in to these speeches here as they get underway, but a major historic moment. India is on its way back to the moon. Chandrayaan-3 has deployed from the GSLV's third stage, beginning its 42-day journey to lunar orbit and then down to the lunar surface. Congratulations to everyone involved. There's going to be a bunch of speeches coming up, but if it was your first time here, make sure you subscribe so you never miss another live launch coverage or space news as it happens right here on the launch pad, because here at TLP, our mission is to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, because we believe that space is better together. We're going to listen in to these celebratory speeches as Chandrayaan-3 begins its journey to the moon. Let's listen in.
Chandrayaan-3 has started its journey towards moon. Our dear LVM-3 has already put Chandrayaan-3 craft into the precise orbit around Earth. 170 by 36,500 kilometers was its intended target orbit, and it is precisely there now. And let us wish all the best for the Chandrayaan-3 craft to make its further orbit racing maneuvers and travel towards moon in the coming days. So let me wish all the very best to Chandrayaan-3 for its further journey towards moon. Before that, let me introduce the team behind this mission, the mission director, Mr. Mohan Kumar, and also the project director of LVM-3. And we have also the mission director for the Chandrayaan-3 craft, the project director of Chandrayaan-3, Veera Muthuvel. So over to them, Mohan.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Minister of State for Science and Technology and Departments of Space and Atomic Energy, Dr. Jitendra Singh, respected Chairman ISRO and Secretary Department of Space, former secretaries of the department, invited dignitaries, respected dignitaries and invitees, I am very happy to report here that the LVM-3 M4 vehicle has injected the Chandrayaan-3 satellite to the precise orbit, and once again the vehicle is proved to be the most reliable heavy lift vehicle of Indian Space Research Organization. Congratulations to the teamwork of ISRO family. I would like to appraise three things here. The vehicle systems are in the continuous process of quality improvement, especially in the event of our human rating efforts towards making the systems reliable. Secondly, the payload also, capability of the payload also is improved by mission strategies as well as vehicle engineering approaches. We are in the process of increasing the launch frequency of this vehicle considering the national requirements as well as satellite demands. Here, so many improvements we have incorporated in this vehicle. For example, the S200 nozzle, they are processed exactly as per the human rating standards enabling us to have 100% NDT and the inherent pocket erosion characteristics are removed. The L100 stage Vikas engine, mostly it is 100% qualified to be the human-rated engine with indigenously developed LET throats, and the pocket, back wall gas entry also is eliminated, and it is a perfect system. Yes, and CE20 stage also is perfectly, actually, sir.
Good. So we will describe all those details later because of shortage of time.
Yes, sir. I take this opportunity to thank all the mission executives because mission executives for all the supports all along the launch campaign process as well as the launch. Once the launch manifest is released and mission executives are identified, really this is a penance of so many across the ISRO centers, our launch vehicle centers, VSSC, LPSC, IPRC, IASU, SDSC, SHAR, URSC and SAC, along with all our industrial partners, major players to the small-scale industries who supply us with all the deliverables in time, quality products, the suppliers of chemicals, propellant ingredients, suppliers of avionics systems, and our own GOCO facility operators. Actually, the industrial manpower is really our ISRO's virtual manpower. Everybody's efforts went into this, and also the prayers and best wishes of all our seniors, retired executives, everyone's prayers and our own family members. I take this opportunity to pray God Almighty for all the blessings in the form of this success, which was the penance by the ISRO family for last 73 days. And my prayerful pranams for the successful continuous operations of the Chandrayaan spacecraft, for its safe and soft landing on lunar surface and further experiments. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Respected Chairman ISRO, Center Directors, dignitaries and my team Chandrayaan-3, very happy to note that our Chandrayaan-3 has been injected into an intended orbit with very close orbital parameters. Congratulations and thanks to LVM-3 team. And all our spacecraft health parameters are normal, including the power generations in both propulsion module and lander module. Our journey to moon has begun now for the most awaited soft landing. We'll be closely monitoring and controlling the spacecraft from ISRAC Bangalore. Many critical events are lined up, starting from earthbound maneuvers, insertion into the lunar orbit, and separation of lander, and set of deboost maneuvers, and finally the power descent phase for a soft landing. I take this opportunity to thank Chairman ISRO, Director URSC, and all the center directors for entrusting me this opportunity, who have been the motivational and guidance force behind this mission. My special thanks to Chandrayaan-3 project executives, Associate Project Director Kalpana, Deputy Project Directors, Project Managers across the ISRO centers who have provided an excellent support in building the spacecraft. My special thanks to the expert committees for their constant guidance throughout the various stages of the project. I also thank the various work centers and industries who have contributed directly and indirectly to this mission. My special thanks to URSC council members, group directors, deputy directors across the ISRO centers, and looking forward for the soft landing with all your wishes and blessings from the God. Thank you.
We have our Honorable Minister for Space, Minister of State for Space, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, amongst us during this historic occasion of success of launching of LVM-3. So we would like to hear a few words from him. Over to you, sir.
It is indeed a moment of glory for India and a moment of destiny for all of us over here at Sriharikota who are a part of the history in making. Thank you, Team ISRO, for making India proud. And thank you, Honorable PM Narendra Modi ji, for having made this possible by unlocking the gates of Sriharikota and enabling the India's space sector. You would recall, Honorable Prime Minister had very recently said, sky is not the limit. And living by his words, I think the Chandrayaan today has gone beyond the limits of sky to discover the unexplored horizons of the universe beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, this day today, the 14th of July 2023, is also a day of vindication. Vindication of the dream that Vikram Sarabhai saw 6 decades ago. He might have been short of resources, but never short of confidence. And when we see those pictures of a launcher vehicle being carried on the carriage of a bicycle, without any remorse, without any slightest embarrassment, that is because Vikram and his team had faith in themselves, faith in India's potential, faith in India's acumen. And today, here, we are vindicating and we are reiterating India's indigenous capabilities, living up to the ideal of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And before I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, as Mother India enters into the next 25 years of this Amrit Kal, she pledges to play a leading global role in the emerging world scenario of 21st century. Thank you and congratulations once again.
Thank you, sir. We will also introduce the directors of the centers who have done all those great work of building the rocket, building the scientific instruments for Chandrayaan-3, the Chandrayaan spacecraft itself, and made all those critical systems, and also the agencies who are going to handle the rest of the mission part, the tracking and the ground stations, and all those teams are here. So I request the directors of those centers to join. First, Director of Vikram Sarabhai Space Center.
Good afternoon, India. In last 1 year, this is the 10th mission, including the precise landing of the reusable launch vehicle. So with this mission, this is the 7th mission of LVM-3, the successful mission. With this, the success rate of LVM-3 is 100%. And this is the ideal vehicle for Gaganyaan. Some of the changes that we are incorporating in Gaganyaan, we have implemented here, and the Mark III has crossed the reliability of 0.9 and inching forward. So I take this opportunity to salute the entire ISRO community, especially the VSC community and all launch vehicle centers, industry partners for making the stages, making the sub-assemblies and testing. In fact, this is the 3rd launch of LVM-3 in 1 year. You know, the realizing the stages, assembling, testing, and then launching 3 LVM-3s in 1 year is a Herculean task. I salute the industry as well as all the ISRO centers for this. And I wish all the very best. We know that when the beginning is good, the ending has to be good. I wish all the very best to the Chandrayaan for its solitary journey through the vastness of space and for making a feather-like soft landing in the 4th week of August. Good luck. Thank you.
Dr. Narayanan, Director LPSC.
Good afternoon to all of you. It is a historical event for Indian space program and a proud moment for all the Indians across the globe on this momentous occasion of the successful launch of the Chandrayaan-3. 3-in-1 spacecraft in the required orbit with the highest level of precision by our heaviest launch vehicle, LVM-3. After the 2 launches of LVM-3 vehicle this year, this vehicle is realized in the record shortest time. Today, once again, all the vehicle systems have performed, demonstrated the 7th successful launch. As you all know, the entire spacecraft community has put wholehearted effort during last 4 years, and we have realized a marvelous, great scientific satellite. For this mission, the entire vehicle performance is as expected, as predicted. In fact, the precision in which the satellite is launched shows the reliability of this vehicle. And we too have 4 liquid propulsion modules, 2 in the launch vehicle. The L110 stage, C25 stage, it has performed extremely well along with all other vehicle systems. We too have 2 more propulsion modules, one for taking the spacecraft to the moon, another one for soft landing. I think it is already well integrated, the system health is very good. Today's success is the culmination of the dedicated, smart and hard work of all the ISRO team members and the work culture of ISRO and the review process what we follow. I am sure all further mission operations will be a grand success and we'll have the successful soft landing. On this occasion, let me congratulate and compliment the members of ISRO team, our family members who have really sacrificed, the partners from industry and academia, and the various review fora. Thank you. Jai Hind.
The Chandrayaan craft was built at the UR Rao Satellite Center, so I request the Director of URSC to speak.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I take this opportunity to first thank my colleagues from the Launch Vehicle Center for providing a textbook-like launch for Chandrayaan-3 on its journey towards moon. Thank you very much. And as Director LPSC and Director VSSC mentioned, realizing this kind of launch vehicle, third launch vehicle within a year's time is indeed a Herculean task. And thank you very much for the effort that has been put by all the members of the launch vehicle community and the industry supporting them. Coming to Chandrayaan-3, Mohan was telling that it is a penance. In fact, it is a penance of the Chandrayaan-3 team for the last 4 years, which has come today as an outcome. It is sitting like a brain sitting inside the head of a human being on that mighty vehicle. On top of that, that satellite was sitting, and it was such a happy moment to see that satellite getting separated. And our work continues from now for the next 42 days till we reach the lunar orbit and touchdown softly on moon. So we'll speak the rest of the things after the soft landing on top of moon. Till then, thank you very much for all the members of the satellite community and the industry for your support, which has been continuing over several years, and I am sure will continue in future also. Thank you very much.
Space Application Center Ahmedabad plays very important role in our scientific instruments and building of the satellites. Over to Director SAC, Nilesh Desai.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. At the outset, let me compliment Team ISRO for this excellent work, and especially vehicle team as well as the project team. And as we begin this historic journey towards moon, well begun is half done, as it is said. So I'm sure that we'll succeed in our effort and endeavor to land on moon safe and in secure manner with a soft landing after 45 days. So I wish all the best to all the people who have contributed directly or indirectly, and especially to the project team, spacecraft team, as well as my team at Space Application Center, who has developed sensors and other hazard detection and avoidance system which will help for a secured and safe landing on moon. So once again, I thank all who have contributed in this mission. Thank you.
Director of this center, Satish Dhawan Space Center, is the chairman of the Launch Authorization Board and also realizing the solid motors of this rocket. So over to Director SDSC Shah Rajarajan.
Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh, respected Chairman, our mentors and the dignitaries present here, and the entire ISRO family. a very successful launch, and hearty congratulations to all the LVM-3, M4 and Chandrayaan-3 mission. So once again, the fat boy has done its job and put a very precisely our prestigious lunar mission Chandrayaan-3 in the transfer orbit. And I congratulate the SDC SHAR team, because throughout this launch, we had many launch campaigns of C-55 and 56. Along with that, we are proud to have this. In spite of the weather conditions here, we have successfully launched LVM-3 in the prescribed launch window time between July 12th and 19th. And we had a very good, smooth campaign here, and all the hearty congratulations to the entire launch vehicle team, as well as for the last 2 months for hosting the Chandrayaan-3 team here and carrying out all the tests to make sure that Chandrayaan-3 is also ready for the mission. And I also thank our entire logistics team who handled this huge crowd throughout this campaign period, in particular last 2-3 days. And my sincere thanks to the various Indian industries who are now participating in various aspects of solid motor processing as well as the assembly activities of our launch vehicle to make it successful. And I wish a glorious success in the future to come. And I wish, as mentioned in the last week of August, to have a successful soft landing of Chandrayaan-3 lander on the moon surface and to make history. Once again, thank you. Jai Hind.
I request all center directors to join on the podium. Please come, all of you. Can you lower this? Please come. Please come here. Come. Please come.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We've been listening into the celebratory speeches from the Satish Dhawan Launch Center as Chandrayaan-3 is officially on its way to the moon, beginning its 42-day journey. The speech is wrapping up there, and that's basically going to wrap us up for our live launch coverage of Chandrayaan-3. Make sure you subscribe to get up-to-date updates on Chandrayaan-3's journey to the moon. We'll be bringing those to you as often as we can via here on YouTube, but also on our website at topnetwork.com/news. If it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe so you never miss another live launch coverage, docking, undocking, or return to Earth, or the latest in space news through the Launchpad News, because here at the Launchpad Network, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, because we believe that space is better together. And this concludes our live historic coverage of the launch of Chandrayaan-3. India is officially on its way back to the moon. But from now, from our TOP Network Canadian studio, my name's Zach, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.